Alright, great. I just redid like all of my Vim configuration. That's actually the reason that I didn't stream yesterday. I was planning to. But I redid all of that, and now I think it's a little bit more organized, a little nicer. But I'm totally expecting something to go wrong. And I also don't know... I don't know a lot of the shortcuts as well, so... This should be fun. The good news is that I managed to run Manim in a GUI. But only sort of. There's a lot of things with it that are kind of off. For example, if I drag outside the window, that still counts as dragging. And I need some sort of way to tell it that it's running inside a GUI. So that it detects that. So I think the way to do this, let me go to the example I'm working on. Which I guess is this one. Here's what I think I'll do. Oh man, I don't even have my thing for switching buffers, whatever. The place where the screen controls are passed to the scene is in the OpenGL render window. So let me go to that. Here, these are called on each frame. And so if I just print these, I just print X and Y, I guess. If I run this, it's going to give me the coordinates. The coordinates relative to the full window, I think. Because it has 0, 0 down here. But really I only want this to be called with the screen space coordinates. So I think what I'm going to have to do is go to the place where it's being called within the GUI. I think it's here. The GUI is also registering its own mouse events. I think I'm gonna have to use those and like disable these if I'm using the GUI. So that if I'm for like this mouse position event, let me actually, I'll say in whichever file this is, OpenGL render window. I'll print the coordinates there, and then here. IMGUI window. I don't know how I feel about the fact that this shows me the branch instead of the file name. I feel like that's possibly less useful. I guess it's on the top. So these are getting coordinates in different spaces. For the OpenGL render window, the origin here is here. For the IMGUI, the origin is up here. I guess that's fine though. Honestly, I think the hardest part about this... I guess that's fine though. Honestly, I think the hardest part about this is going to be adding the flag to our configuration. Because what I'm probably going to have to do, I'm going to need something like if it's going to be using the GUI, it's going to be like, don't do anything. So I don't do this. Or then like, how do I know if it's using the GUI? That has to be a flag probably. And then if it is not using the GUI, it'll do this normally. And then if it is, I'm going to have to convert from the IMGUI coordinates to the screen coordinates here and then call the callback. That's what I got to do. Would be nice to have a storybook.js type component. Let me see what story... I've actually worked... Oh, I tried to click. I thought it was a link. I've tried to use Storybook before, and it was broken. And it made me really frustrated with Storybook. But is it just like a collection of UI components or something like that? Man, I do not want to update this config. Our config is actually bad that... Actually, part of the reason that I updated my Vim configuration... Okay, gotcha. Part of the reason I updated it is because I didn't want to update this config. Actually, I might not even know the config anymore. So I go to commands render. I think the config is... It's parsed here somehow. Oh, and I don't know, click. For scene and args of scene names. I've seen this. I guess it takes this argument. Args at file. Wait, what's args? Oh, this is gonna be a journey. Can I go to references or something? Nope. Okay, this must be in like the main file or something. So I have main. Add command, config, plugins, and render. Add command is not here. Main is this. What is add command? Version, render. Classes default group. Okay, well render was imported from here, so I guess render has the arguments that are defined here. And it's automatically called with this, whatever args is and whatever context is. Even though context isn't accessed. Do you think reading documentation would be helpful here? It has these three. If I do Manim render, then it crashes. Manim render with help. It has all of these arguments, but where are all these even defined? Like disable caching? Okay, so we have global options. You can filter it, I guess. You mean when I'm searching for things? Flush cache, text, tech template, blah, 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 blah. So, which of these arguments would flush cache, text, tech template, blah, 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 blah. So which of these arguments would be most similar to a use GUI argument? I guess you'd have to use the OpenGL renderer first. Oh, these aren't even the right flags. These are deprecated flags. So what I want is to first find where you can pass the renderer argument. This would be like args at renderer. I hate refactors. I'm just kidding, they're usually okay. So there's an argument file, argument scene names. Then I guess it has global options, output options, render options. So it must be in these. Okay, so let's look for that. Like PHP. Yeah. Okay, this, I think, is where all these arguments are being defined. Daryl Golden, what's up? Okay, so now we have renderer, this. Okay, so now I can add render lol global fun if r.exists. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I wonder how the validation will work. Like this, validate resolution. That seems pretty useful. Oh, you can call back. I wonder how I can only allow an argument to be set if a different argument is set. No, maybe I should read click documentation. Testing, parameters, differences, custom types. It must be something on validation. Callbacks for validation. So there's this. You do this in the parameter callbacks. There's a usage error or bad parameter. Validate roles. Context parameter value. Roles and dice equals this. It'll return a tuple, otherwise it'll say you messed up. I wonder if I can use... the other flags in the validation. One way to find out, I guess. I'm gonna just copy something like this. Is G available? Looks like G is free. G, this will be... Is flag... Aren't all of these flags? Let me see what is flag means. Boolean flags. Options again, enabled or disabled. Blah, 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 blah. So this can be accomplished by defining two flags and one go, separated by a slash for enabling and disabling the option. Whatever and slash no whatever. It's not telling me what is flag does. Is anything gonna tell me what is flag does? You see it in all these options. Oh, here it is. Force this option to act as a flag. The default is auto detection. What does that mean? I thought all of them were flags. Which value should be used for this flag if it's enabled? Well, I guess an option like this isn't a flag because it has options. Maybe that's how it works. And this has a number of options. An option like this isn't a flag because it has options. Maybe that's how it works. And this has a number of options. Okay, I think it's like, it basically means Boolean. So I'm gonna do this. I'll say, render using Imgui. And this should have a callback. But if I just run this now, I guess it'll run. So that's nice. Oh, also, during the last stream, I couldn't figure out these orbit controls. And I turned off the stream. And I solved it pretty much immediately. As soon as I wasn't streaming. So that was fun. Okay, I'm going to try to validate this. With something like this. Hopefully even can use validation on a flag since it's just a Boolean. Validate GUI. What was it? The problem was that in the zooming logic. So if I look at, let me go to the file. Here. It was in the zooming logic. So here, on mouse scroll, this is where I was doing the action to do this, zooming in and out. The problem I was running into is that when you zoom like this, it doesn't change the point at which the camera is focused, or the point on which the camera is focused. And what I did is I had a line saying basically this, the camera target is, I was adding this shift vector. But it shouldn't be like that. The camera is centered on this point. And so when you zoom into that point. When you zoom out of that point, but it doesn't move it. And that was the entire problem. So yeah, this is pretty snazzy now. Okay, so I'll have this validate GUI, drag, render using this. And all I want to do is return the Boolean, right? So what I'm gonna have to do is here just print everything. So it's just resetting that point. It was moving that point when I zoomed in or zoomed out. But that point should have remained stationary. So not resetting it, but moving it. Let me see, examples. OpenGL.py. I think if I try to just put a breakpoint here. Oh man. I don't have my shortcut to do breakpoints even set up. Hold on. I think I would just try to do a breakpoint here. It might crash because I'm using embed. I'm gonna do a wait here. I might have to make these comments brighter though. Those are kind of hard to see. But I'm gonna write this flag. Use Imgui. Okay, so it does come here. Oh, it's not even IPDB. Hold on. Let's do it that way. Now let me run this. Oh, and it doesn't have the context set. Sorry. This is what comes. The context set. Sorry. This is what comes when you have like a really optimized workflow. It's usually a good thing, but setting it up can get annoying. Okay, I think I usually use 9. Great, so now I'm going to see what context is. Okay, so I think context is storing the other flags? Maybe? Terminal, oh no, this looks like information about the environment actually. What is context.command? So I can get the command. It's like an invariant perspective, yeah. Is there a way to tell which arguments are already passed? Probably not. Invoke subcommand, scope. I'm going to guess there isn't. Although, if it, oh, here's the context. An internal object that holds state relevant to the script execution at every single level. It's normally invisible to commands unless they opt in to getting access to it. Command the parent info with default. Okay, it looks like this doesn't allow you to read the other options or the other arguments. Okay. So if I look at param, look at value. Yeah, so what I was trying to do is it would have been nice to fail this. I could do like if not like use OpenGL renderer, then like raise an exception. But I don't think there's a way to tell this because this is another argument, so I don't think you can tell it yet. Whatever, maybe I'll just validate it in the program somewhere. I'm just going to pass this as -g. So now, I forgot where I even was. This is render options. Okay, I got here from commands. This is where it took in the render options. So now it takes the render function. Oh, I have to see where it builds the config. Oh, it's not using config. Here's using args. So I guess the config hasn't been built yet. Where does the config get built? Okay, here we import the config. Here we run digest args and we pass the click args. Okay, let me try my fancy schmancy go to definition. And I can't find it. Oh wait, I think it's like this? Like that? No, I can't do it. The pains of always optimizing your Vim config. Def digest args. Yeah, that looks right. You even have some nice type hints here. Let me try context.params at render. Okay. Why not? If I can find the file. don't need this, I don't think. Was it here? So they all call that validate GUI. So they all call that validate GUI. Type in sorry, are you live? Tell me about it. They're quite useful when your code base gets really complicated. Okay, context.parameter. Params? Oh. Nice. Can I do dot? Can't. How did you know that? Oh, wait. I didn't have the context that time. I like as much space. There we go. If I look at the dir... But actually, before I even... I guess params is here. I guess I missed that. Before I did any streaming at all, and I only watched it, I saw someone else working on Manim. And he was like trying to figure out the types of things the entire time and couldn't figure them out. So yeah. I guess I don't really need to try and accept, do I? Just say if context params if this, or if not this rather. That's when I raise the exception. We're gonna use a typed language. Yeah, that can get annoying if you have to set them up for a long time, but it's probably ends up being worth it in the long run if it's a big one, a big project. If value and so you're setting a value. I guess you're setting it to true, and the render is not OpenGL. That's when I raise the exception. Using the GUI requires, or rather, the GUI it's new of them sent up. Thanks. I just redid a bunch of it. Oh, this should be raise. Code is unreachable. Why would this be unreachable? Oh, it should just be... Oh, we're not raising the exception, we're just doing logger.error and exiting. So it should just be logger.error this. This is how it should be. I think there's a Rust flavor that tries to introduce types. Does Rust not have types? I don't know that much about Rust. So let me now... I'm gonna try to always pass this flag. Use IMGUI. Maybe I should just call this use GUI. It's probably not that important that it's called IMGUI. The only thing I don't like is the diagnostic on the side. Yeah, I can see that. It's sort of something you have to grow into. But there's actually... I used to not have this. I only started doing this when Vim switched to native LSP. You used to have to include a separate plugin, like a third-party thing to use LSP. And when they switched to the native one, it just appeared over here like this. It's kind of grown on me, but sometimes it can be annoying. Okay, so let's try, this is just work. Nope, it didn't work. And I know why it didn't work. I think I'll just call it regular GUI. Okay, so that worked. It should be like display the GUI when interacting. For Python mean, oh, I got you. What's it called? What is what called? Carbon. Oh, carbon's the name of the thing that does types for Python. Cool, cool. You notice some performance regression with Lua? No, Lua's faster. Faster and less annoying than VimScript. Okay, so I'm gonna try doing this with I just passed WebGL here. Great, this is exactly what I want. I was wondering if you will create a PR for the file and server anytime soon. Yeah, I'm planning to do that. But the thing with that is, I've written so much code since then that now in order to PR, I have to like go back and figure out what I did. And it's just a lot more annoying. Like, the longer the PR stays open, the more difficult